The next match then is between Kimo, who is kinda clanless, even though he has created his own Kimo fan clan. And then against him is ChronoJJ from Toao, the one and only, if I remember it correctly. Very old clan from the olden days. And even though it's not really active lately, they are just sometimes players. Well, ChronoJJ is active altogether, always, but sometimes there is Soldier to our Soldier, another player from this clan, but I don't really think that anybody else from the clan is active anymore. We are going to be seeing Ramir, because both of these players have as their main Gotra, so we are definitely going to see a very interesting matchup of the skills in here, and it's going to be played on Tundra, which is not exactly a Ra-heavy map, so let's see how the players actually are able to use the map to their advantage.
In wedge.
Well, we have started with Chrono, of course, and he's already moving to the right for, oh, well, well, that's not ideal, obviously, just for a one hand, and he's actually hoping that there's something extra. Let's see with him. He's definitely going to scout there, and, oh yeah, it seems that he's unlucky. He has just built a granary right next to just one hand, and that's most definitely not going to help him. Just switching Dra in here, and, well, yeah. Here he finally sees some extra hand, but he will be having actually a bit of a downtime when he switches the villagers from the left spot to the right spot and goes for, he's actually going for husbandry, that's interesting, goes for extra hand in there. So that's also the reason why he was sending the goats in there, because he is thinking that he's not really going to switch into a hand, but will continue with the goats right off the bat. So that's definitely a bit different starting position than his opponent, and switching into the observer position, we are going to see his opponent as well. Kimo is having a much better start, obviously, much more normal start with the caribous and whatnot, and does he see something unfortunate like Chrono? The one elk in there? So far, I don't think so. That's not the go for, and no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't, so you see just the Aurochs on the left, right now discovered through the Pharaoh. Smende. Is he actually called the same? Smendes? And Smendes. Oh well, that's funny. Well, both of these guys are actually called the same. I'm just going to make sure through the point of view. And well, that's unusual. I don't exactly know if I've seen this before. Actually, two Egyptian players starting with the same pharaoh name, but well, that's exactly happening in here. So, continuing with the Aurochs, and positioning of the TC seems to be pretty much okay. Much more defensible for Chrono, as you can see, as it's kinda, especially this one, is much closer to the wall, and you can also see that he is already moving to the hunt as well. And has he actually researched hunting dogs? No. Well, that's going to put him down quite a lot, because obviously, since he has gone for husbandry and he's not really using that, but going for standard hunt, that's unfortunate, really unfortunate, but in the long run, it might actually help him, as he will be having quite a lot of extra food and faster food from the goats. So, considering that we are actually seeing a Ras, it might not be all that bad, because the booming game is kinda long run. So what's this relic? Cheaper siege weapons. Oh yeah, that's a very great one for Egyptian. And do we see other relic? For example, captured by the opponent? Not yet, but you can also see that he's already going for temple at 245, so that seems like very fast advance from Kimo in here. Well, gold trickle, better than nothing, but still pretty great, of course, since it's for free. And this is very nice corner of the map actually for Chrono. And since he's already moving to the left, let's turn the focus for. Unfortunately, his goat didn't really go all the way there. That would have been quite nice for him, and definitely a good spot to potentially wall like here and really defend for a ton, a literal ton of food. Well, interesting. In the meantime, though, he is switching into goats from all the caribous in here, whereas also dropping a temple, but of course, quite a lot slower than his opponent. And you can already see that Mendes, the blue one, is coming into the opponent's base, and is he actually looking for shifting and shenanigans? Oh yeah, most definitely. He's halfway through Ptah, and he is most definitely looking for something to shift, and that's going to be on the gold willies, it seems. So let's wait for that a bit later. Right now he's going to be just a bit disrupting the economy, and let's have a look at the economy. Nothing extra for Chrono yet, but he is just barely advancing, whereas for opponent I don't expect anything either, because obviously fast advances are not really conducive to anything interesting. And let's go back. Oh, very nice. Very nice by Chrono actually. Retreating in here, and he has captured just 2 villies, and they are right under, and of course are going to be easily killed by the budget. But very nice reaction by Chrono actually, saving at least 1 villager, as he was having 3 on the gold, and he retreated with them, so he was just 2, so that's 1 villager saved, and pretty nicely played and anticipated by ChronoJJ. At the same time, we have also seen that Kimo is going for armory, so that's going to be a faster heroic. Actually pretty fast one, it seems. And so far he is not gathering any kind of wood, but that's probably going to change sometime soon, as he will be, interesting, going for second TC, so basically standard play. 2 TC faster heroic for Era. And going back to the thought about the wood, he's going to need wood, of course, in the heroic age for all the chariot archers that he is undoubtedly going to be making. So this guy is all going to stay here, it seems. And he is still going to be putting the opponent's release under some kind of pressure. And since he's having a pretty decent attack right now with the 14 and whatnot, he's actually pretty dangerous. You can see that he's taking down like a quarter of the hit points from a villager. That's pretty dangerous for Chrono, and he needs to do something about it, because this is pretty threatening and quite a big problem. So finally, it's going to be the Battle of the Smandis, it seems. But this guy is definitely needing to be retreating. Right now, 530 advance from Ra. It's not really all that bad for Chrono, considering what kind of bad start he had without hunting dogs. And goodbye. And it really shouldn't matter all that much. He will be slightly slower, but I think there's still plenty of time for him to actually make up for it. This is kind of a desperate mood. Desperate mode for a wood line, obviously. Not really all that much of it in there, but he was basically just getting extra wood for whatever he wanted to do. And the second TC is coming up, exactly as his opponent, albeit slightly slower. Upgrades, pickaxe for Chrono. Whereas his opponent is having nothing yet. Interesting, but he doesn't seem to be advancing yet, so he's basically just a full-on boom right about now around the 2 town centers, which is definitely going to be quite strong, especially with him discovering the very bountiful hunt on the right, which is exactly the hunt that Chrono is so far, I think, quite unaware of. Yeah, he still doesn't know about it at all, and there was also something blue. Ah, that was this budget. Well, against Pharaoh. Yeah, better go back right now. And TC finished quite nicely for Chrono, and he will be switching into farms right now. Okay, so he's definitely hoping that he can go for rain sometime soon, or maybe expecting that his opponent could be going for one. So let's see, with armory being dropped as well, and it's basically a time where Chrono will be catching up with his opponent, and also is right now having a blow. Kimo seems to be quite content with the normal hunt and not the husbandry goats so far. Does he have some extra hunts somewhere else? Just Oroks at the top, whereas a bit of a caribous and berries, but I think that's not really something that he would be happy about, so he's probably going to switch into farms reasonably soon. And since Chronos has already invoked his rain, that's actually very nicely played and very nice bonus for him, because obviously since he has a lot of farms, whereas his opponent has absolutely none, it means that the rain from Kimo will be benefiting Chrono as well, so that could be actually making up for the deficit in economy quite nicely, and definitely shouldn't be discounting Chrono from this game overall. Something we haven't talked about yet is gold placement. We see for Chrono that he's having gold on the right, basically forcing him to go for this TC and placing Miglos somewhere around here, potentially, next to the relic in here, but otherwise more to the right and not much to the left. This is just wide open and really impossible to wall. You have a look around the map, just like not possible. And so this basically means that I really think that Chrono will be expanding to the right and even more to the right, and potentially hoping to build some big wall using this pond and somehow control the rest of the map from there. Enough resources for the upgrade. Yeah, he doesn't even know about the gold at the top, so okay. It's basically a given. And unfortunately, Though he's just now losing the budget, which makes things a bit difficult, as if he wants to advance to the right side, it's of course going to be not all that easy. Let's see with the locusts if the budget is going to be coming for a kill. And Chrono definitely needs to be moving. It's almost running out. While in the meantime Kimo is trying to wall himself in a bit. Finally with some upgrades, hand ducks and pickaxe and shadoof. As for Chrono, we are seeing what? Just pickaxe, nothing for the gold. It's kinda, or rather, nothing for the wood, of course. And he definitely could be wanting to actually put the relic inside his temple before he forgets, since he's going to be advancing to the next age soon. And that's definitely meaning that he will be also switching into siege workshop and of course some siege towers. In the meantime though, Kimo is securing the second gold in the forefront, using this Migdol stronghold, and well, it seems a much better position for him looking at the gold distribution, because he's basically giving up the one on the right. He doesn't need it, finishing with the wall, as he has a very safe gold at the top. And let's see if he knows about it. Going for a second, or rather third TC. No, he doesn't. But he does know at least about this one, which seems, I think, from his point of view, quite safe, because he's very close by with army and not really far away. So if he places a Migdol right here, it's going to be yet again safe. So I really think that it's a pretty good position for him, and Chrono needs to be careful. Chrono needs to be very, very careful. And of course, yes, finally deposited exactly what he was looking for, the very useful relic. So first trade in with Chariot Archers is coming in, and nicely used locusts. Oh wow, oh my, what the hell. That was a veritable slaughter. Well, Chrono must have lost at least 5 or 6 villages in here, and I'm not even talking about a huge amount of... Oh well, that was quite nice as well. A huge amount of farms, because there are still quite a lot of resources, and this was also not half badly placed, because you have seen like 6 villages dead. So it means that basically the locusts went 1 for 1, but with the disadvantage for Chrono that he also lost quite a lot of farms, and since this is the main place where he's gathering food, well, you can kinda expect that that was kinda problematic for him, for his economy currently, especially with the 30C by Kimo right now being up, and Chrono not really being interested in it. So that's that, but at least it also means that Kimo is basically wasting 5 population limit in here, with the budget not doing anything at all. Is it 5, right? No, 3, sorry. Just 3. And here we go with rain. That's actually pretty nice timing, because Kimo has just killed a lot of farms from his opponent, and that if that was actually his plan all along, then that was a pretty great one, and I really think that it was, because of his skill. And even though Chrono is going to be reaping a bit of a benefits through the farms that he's having next to his own TC, definitely could have had a whole lot of them. There was like 6-7 farms extras. And well, so far it's not really going to be paying off. So very nicely played by Kimo. And some next level plays in this game so far. Quite obviously, a bit more Chariot Archers from Kimo as opposed to Chrono. But Chrono is right now just attempting a bit of raiding, which is basically all he's doing right now. Whereas his opponent is at least being engaged in trying to defend and not going for raiding himself. This means that ChronoJJ is basically free to develop sometimes, or rather, someplace further. With Mendes loafing around in here. And is it going to be actually some kind of rock drop? No, it doesn't seem so. But with the army that he's right now having, I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be strong enough, because you can see that exactly the same as he's attempting is going to be happening from Kimo. Well, obviously they are two Rus with pretty much the same strategy, and it seems like that since Kimo's strategy, or rather, how is it called, economy, is much stronger, it's going to be quite a lot more effective, because obviously the amount of siege towers is pretty big, and since both of these players are reliant on basically siege towers together with Chariot Archers, there's not much that either Chrono or Kimo can do against the siege towers, and once you have more of them, well, you are going to be having an advantage in this fight, which is exactly what is happening in here. In the meantime though, Chrono is also going for a bit on offensive, and he's taking down the tower and potentially going for a town center or whatnot, but due to the villages not really threatening anymore. But the most important battle is right now happening in the middle, near Chrono's Migdol. Well, it doesn't seem to be going all that well for him, just because of the sheer numbers, obviously. And let's see if Chrono can somehow outmaneuver this. I'm not exactly sure how, because the Petsuchos right now is quite strong, but where is actually Chronos Petsuchos? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he died somewhere already, but I don't see him. And I don't really think I've seen him at all. The rock is empty, so he's definitely not there. Pharaoh still not doing anything interesting. Well, so let's see how this will develop. So far it seems like that Kimo is actually not prepared to pull the trigger fully. Taking it carefully, and even though he's having a decided upper hand, the number of siege towers, because of the very nice relic of 20% cheaper siege units, is definitely paying off, as it's allowing Chrono to spam a bit more, and that's basically the only thing that is keeping him alive. But this is a pretty big battle between siege towers and basically nothing else. It's not like those ChronoJJs are doing any significant damage to them. And finally, hello! Hello, welcome to the battlefield. And that could be exactly everything that Chrono needs to put his opponent into the retreat. As yeah, it's going to be a pretty strong support, especially against the ChronoJJs, but and that's just pain with his life for this. And Chrono really needs to pay a bit more attention and be a bit more careful, because it's not like Kimo is going to be surprised for basically the whole duration of the game. Chrono is on the back foot in here due to a bad start without hunting dogs or whatnot, and he's also still at just 2 town centers, and it doesn't seem like at all that he would be going for third. Or maybe I'm just now wrong. Yeah, I'm just now wrong. Exactly as we are talking about it, he is going for it, but unfortunately right now the budget will be paying dividends for Kimo, and that's going to be a bit of a problem, because obviously Chrono has just lost the Pharaoh, so he's down to just 1 priest, and unfortunately it doesn't seem like that he was fully aware of what is happening in here. I think he still isn't. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. But shifting sands. 15, that's a very nice attack actually, a very nice idea for Chrono, because he knows that Kimo already doesn't have 15 sands, as he has used them on the villages at the very start of the game, and this should allow him to take down the town center, even through the spam of mercenaries, or not town center at the top. So that's a very good idea, and very nice attempt to actually stop the strong economy from his opponent, and might be helping him quite a lot, but for that he will need to finish with the town center at the bottom, which is going to be a bit problematic, but since he has finally dealt with the budget, it might be a bit easier. But looking also at the ChronoJJs, he's still not out of the woods yet, at all. Oh well, that sucks. So many villages dead in here. Whereas in the offensive, of course, he's going to lose a huge amount of, of mercenaries. As it seems like that Kimo is actually having pretty strong economy, since he has already set up his trade, which is of course going to be dead due to losing the town center, but just for a bit longer. And let's see what is in this rock. Reinforcements! That's what's in there. With Petsuchos. Okay. Ah yeah, that's nicely played. Nice micro, but he needs to be careful because Pharaoh is unfortunately in here as well. And with losing all the army in here, and Mercenary is just going to be dead right about now. He is, well, still really nicely in the game, because this was quite nice diversion from the main battlefield in the middle, and this should allow him to somehow recuperate a bit. But looking in here, he has lost the Migdol, and that's a big blow. That's a very big blow, and especially since he hasn't been able to finish with the town center, that's a pretty big problem. And you can also see that he's already switching to the left, which might help him, because Kimo is not really paying enough attention to the left part, as he is just finishing with the town center yet again. And going to be moving into the offensive quite soon, I think. Attempting to build probably another siege works. And this is going to be a story of this game. Siege tower battles, all along. Right now Chrono is in a pretty good spot, it seems, with economy. A lot of food, decent amount of wood and gold. Well, not bad, considering that he is at population limit. But he needs to do something about this Sun Center, which he's attempting to do, as Kimo is not paying enough attention, just dealing damage and basically allowing Chrono to finish it even under the fire. Even though actually Kimo should be seeing it. But well, he doesn't. And right now he does. Right now he does, but he is also under pretty heavy attack on his trade route, which is also a pretty good idea by Chrono. And I have to say, even though Chrono was on the back foot for a majority of the game, he is really putting up some quite nice divisive actions, like the shifting sense on True Town Center, and this time basically stopping the trade altogether for his opponent. And well, if he can actually keep this up, he might be having a pretty good chance on keeping the opponent at bay. But look at how Horus is already in for Kimo. Whereas for Chrono, he's going to be just now clicking in, it seems. He also needs to finish market, of course. And unfortunately for him, he could use definitely a market about here for a nice trade route, but it's not safe for him at all. You can still see has a big problem for him still going on. And finally, Tornado for his opponent is, oh my, going to be taking care of this town center, because you can see that Chrono, unfortunately, going into Osiris in that, doesn't have fortified DC, so that means and the town center is down, and Chrono is down to just 1, and also going to be slightly housed, with the house surviving at just 14, but he has lost 1, and finally he'll be able to build the 3C that he has been building for the last, I don't know, 5, maybe 5 minutes. So finally finishing in there. Otherwise he seems to be quite safe on the left side. Whereas, just now finding that there's a lot of walling going on from Kimo. He's basically successfully walled the whole map, but here is to finish. And yeah, right now they are finishing, and he has basically rebuilt his marketplace right now, and it seems to be quite safe, as there's absolutely no way that Chrono can be getting through if he doesn't use rock, of course, or well, at the same time it's not going to be all that tough. You can also see that he's attempting to build siege works in here, so he's quite soon going to discover that it's not going to be all that easy with those villagers. And well, on the right side, trying to establish the market, exactly as you were talking about a bit earlier, but it's not going to be easy at all. You can also see that he's advancing through Horus, so that's a switch from the Osiris that he clicked at the very beginning in there. Not sure exactly if it was a mistake or not. But he's also finding himself under some pretty heavy attack, with some medium spearmen with bronze shields, bronze weapons and copper mail. Of course, greatest of 50 and mediums, whereas his opponent is probably not having all that much. Yeah, you can see that Chrono is so far not having any upgrades at all. Is of course a pretty big problem, since he's fighting with the normal chariots against heavy chariots, and that means that he is, oh well, in a pretty tough spot, especially with Avenger here, who is having a pretty nice output of damage, and if he isn't countered by priests, which I don't see any in here, it's probably not going to do a whole lot for Chrono, the army that he has right about now. So, siege works right inside opponents, rather right in the middle of the fighting in here, probably not going to do all that much. This could be a good idea, but let's see if we can actually execute, and since Chrono is nicely actually established on the right side next to the gold, I was just going to say that he might have had some chance, especially with still having his Tornado, but it seems like this push is too strong for him. And with all the upgrades that Kimo has above Chrono, Chrono is having nothing right now, whereas his opponent is having the bronze line, you can see. That's just a huge difference, and with the very nice tower spam just being born by Kimo, even the 3 town centers finally for Chrono are not going to be enough, and nicely controlled by Kimo, but I have to say, very nice attempts by Chrono to actually turn the battle around that wasn't going for him in the first place. Really nice. The shifting sense on the TC, the attempt on the markets. Yep, nicely played. Nicely, actively played. Whereas Kimo just seemed to be waiting for the correct moment and then to storm his opponent. So Kimo is also winning in absolutely everything in here. Oh my god, that's a different in economy. 5,006, 14,000, oh, 11,000, 11,008, 19,000, 21,000 difference in resources. Well, that's That's all the more reason to actually admire how Chrono was able to survive so long and actually so effectively, and almost seemed like that he could be handling his opponent. Such a huge difference in economy. Well, that's brutal. But research count 31 for Kimo, just 11 for Chrono. Well, GG, let's have a look at game number 2.